What's up? What's up? Long time no see. Took a break. YouTube put me on punishment for a week because I was talking about cayenne pepper. Literally. But anyway, I'm back and probably gonna be here for a while because I got time and you know just wanna got some things I want to talk about and also I'll say this. Um, if you want to get if you want to get watch time hours up, you have to you have to go live. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to tell you, but I'll tell you. The reason why people be doing like 4 to 5 to 6, 7 hour live streams consistently, that's actually how you could build up. There's one reason, but one of the reasons is it builds up watch time hours. I mean, most people don't really have that time to do that, but that's the reason why people do that because it actually builds up watch time hours. Uh, I mean, people don't want to let you know that secret, but I'll tell you. Um, now, what you do after that is up to you, but that's how you build up those watch time hours. Is you those long live streams actually do work, and it's quite a few reasons they work, but I'm not going to go into that. The topic is Sexy Red and other female rappers, are they agents? Okay, that's what we're gonna be discussing tonight. Okay, why is this important? Well, you know, I look at things from a socioeconomic, sociological perspective. Meaning, I look at this. It all relates back to just kind of like how economically black people are doing in America. That's the perspective of what I'm going to be um basically talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's my perspective on just about anything. It is basically the perspective of basically why this particular issue or problem in America is a problem. Um, that's what I'm going to look at it from the lens of socioeconomic, the society that we live in. And in America, there's particular caste systems or class systems, right? Okay, we we all we all know the class systems. If you don't know the class systems, you can just put it in the comment section or the chat. I don't know the class structures in America. Uh, Broke genius. Can you tell me what the class structures are? Because I don't know. I'm from Malaysia. We have a different class system there. Can you tell me what's going on, like as far as the class system in America? You let me know. I'll tell you. I've done plenty of videos on it, but basically everybody in America should know the class system. Okay, and from that perspective, there's a reason. Let me just share my screen as far as the picture. Let me just give you a perspective of what I'm talking about. Um, as far as the question at hand. Okay. All right. I mean, basically, they're not agents. I don't think none of the women in these photos a particular, let's just say, they're sent on a mission to destroy the black community through the NSA or CIA. I do not think that. No, that's not what I think. Where that came from was a perspective from different people that probably have more time on their hands than I do, and like to draw up stuff or whatever. Let me play this video real quick. Um, just kind of set the tone of what I'm talking about. Stop sharing on here. Let's see here. Share this video real quick.
Industry plant that was put here to help finalize the destroying of the black woman image.
How's you got a bitch name in your mouth and you super broke? It be the brokest bitches. The bottom of the barrel bitches got something to say about a bitch that's getting money. How's you hating on my come up and you is broke? I think that's why.
First of all, the way she says money is tripped out, tripped out. But the other chick that she's talking about is Dana. I think, yeah, Dana Dane on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, TikTok. Now, I don't know how much Dana Dane makes. Okay, I have no idea the structure of TikTok and how much money you can make on TikTok, or whatever the case may be. From what I gather from Dana Dane, she does have a big following. She's just basically she started it off as like a hobby. She's not really into it, like, as far as I see. She does do some type of like ads for businesses. Doesn't do it to the max. She's just basically a casual TikToker that does have some, I guess, local advertising. She doesn't do any like t-shirts. She don't do no coaching as far as I know. I mean, she's just basically a casual TikToker. I don't know how much TikTokers make. I've heard some TikTokers making millions of dollars. I've heard people complaining about TikTok not paying enough. So I don't necessarily, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how her breakdown as far as what she makes as far as the chick in the video. Um I don't think that she's a plant. The other chick thinks that the video that I just played, and other people are saying that she possibly could be an industry plant, but I don't think that she's a plant, and I'm gonna, basically break it down why I don't think she's a plant, and even I'll even say why a lot of black women are thinking this, and others. You say if you don't think there's industry gatekeepers that pick and choose who get airtime. Oh no, I know. I'm very, very much aware of that. Oh yeah, that's payola goes back to before me and you were born. It's called payola. It's actually a scandal. It was a scandal that people actually, I think some people had to go to jail for, if I'm not mistaken, or definitely had to pay hefty fines. Payola still goes on. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Um, Basically, what I'm gonna be talking about is from a perspective of what Dana Dane just mentioned and others about her, in these different rappers in this photo being an agent. I don't think I don't think none of these women on this photo, They would be what's the common term? Well, when I was in high school, these were hood rats. All of these women were considered hood rats. So I don't think that they're agents. No, I don't think. And the black people that think that they're agents, I'll break down my theory as far as why I think they think that they're agents. And it goes back into the narrative of the you gotta understand the perception of, I would say, primarily the ones that are saying it. I would say mostly what I see is black women, and probably even could even say a certain type of guy, probably that more or less aligns with a simp that thinks kind of on the line of whatever black women think, as far as what I see on Twitter and other, primarily Twitter, because most of the discussions I see are from Twitter. Other sites I don't really get into too much, but I'll just say from what I see on Twitter that it's mainly those two camps. Now, why is this perception is that okay, they're surprised. Where is the shock? Where is the shock that it's hood rats on the airwaves, or hood rats are the image of the black woman in America? Why is that a surprise? Why would that be? The question is, why would that be such a surprise that you, whoever you are, would be so taken aback or so appalled that you think that these women, any women, primarily Sexy Red, that's on the basically top right next to Suki Hana, that they would be or she would be an agent? Why, again, would you be so surprised that they would be an agent? I'm asking you, why would that be such a surprise? How is that possible that that is a surprise to you? That there's so much so they just have to be agents. Now, I'll give you this. I'll help you out. As an intellectual, as a scholar, I'll help you out and walk you along the path of logic. That basically, yes, not so much these women are agents, they're just basically tools for propaganda. That's where I'll help you out at. They're tools for propaganda. It's propaganda. All of this is propaganda. Me actually talking about it, actually, one of the reasons why I'm talking about it is anti-propaganda. I'm trying to wake you up out of the propaganda that's being propagandized towards you. That's what I'm actually doing here. Okay, for free 99. I'm trying to tell you, okay, it's not necessarily their agents. They're they're basically pushed to push a certain propagandic narrative, if that's a word, to basically push propaganda, um, and also to just basically put out what's kind of reality, to be honest. Okay, what is reality? What do you mean? What do I mean by reality? Well, the reality in America is most black women do live in hoods, live in ghettos. Okay, the question is that you got to ask yourself, that image of being of the way that these women actually dress, do you dress like that? And when I say you, I'm asking a woman that makes enough money to not dress like this, to not look like this. You make enough money for whatever that is, that you don't have a weave, you don't have long eyelashes, makeup, cake with makeup, and false fingernails. Like if that's not your costume that you put on, then okay, I understand. But if it is your costume, then you actually fit in the propaganda as well. That's that's what you fit in. You fit in that propaganda of these women that you quote unquote think are agents. Okay? Do you wear the hair weaves, the bundles, the wigs, the lashes, the fingernails? And if you do, you're part of the propaganda. That's you. They're pushing, okay, the hood life. They're pushing beauty salons, beauty supply stores with bundles of hair of other people in fake hair that costs a lot of money, and also and then also just to put things in perspective, right? Any money that goes towards wasteful spending, that's money that you cannot move out of the quote unquote hood with. Whatever wasteful money that you spend in your socioeconomic level that you not necessarily proud of and you really want to move, all of that money that you spend literally keeps you right there. Okay, so it's like a cycle, and that's the purpose of some propaganda, is to throw you off, is to lead you astray. That's the motive of propaganda, so you can stay proud of your environment to where you think it's cool to be just like these people and they don't get me wrong. Here's the thing, right? That's why I did the video on bougie people, bougie, the different types of black bougie individuals. They are what would be called ghetto, okay? Bougie and ghetto. They don't necessarily, as far as I know, they have most of all of them have origins where they were in the hood, quote unquote, and that's what they like. Some of them or all of them or whatever, or they say they do on camera. But what they also are is not necessarily, yeah, they have money. All of these women, um, you know, have some money to where I don't necessarily know if all of them have millions, but I think they do have close to it. If not, I know for sure at least two. If two out of three of them actually do have, they're multimillionaires. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj for sure. The other three, sometimes people spending money, they don't really have it like that. But I'll give it that they probably do, based off of the tours, the popularity, the Instagram followers, the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have money enough to where they probably have enough money to get a decent community house that's in pretty good condition, and not live in the hood. So it's like basically women that's from the hood showcasing hood culture, hood behavior, basically marketing the hood, marketing being a hood rat for other people that actually living in the hood, that's stuck in the hood, and probably a lot of them will never get out of the hood. Okay, so I'm walking down a path. Okay, hear me out. Where a lot of black women are delusional to ask why are these people CIA agents, is they don't like to admit that they don't like stats. That's pretty much a fact. A lot of I've heard quite a few women say they don't like stats because they want to pretend that things are a way, like it's a delusional fantasy in their mind to count, because it goes into that whole BGS and um Kevin Samuel's sign language. They don't want to feel shame, so they go into mythical fantasy world, because that shame is actually realizing the logical reality that basically it's a lot of it's a lot of women that live in the hood. For every, okay, the black upper class in America is less than 10%. That is a fact. And I'm being modest with 10%. It is most likely, really, if I want to just say upper class and not put middle in there, and not to just take the middle upper class out of there, it's only 1% of the entire America, actually even less than 1%, that make up the upper class black population demographic. I'm putting middle just so I can get it to where it's like 10%. And that might not even be the case. It might be like 5% realistically. And it's certain pockets, for example, this is what I do know. Where Sexy Red is from, which is Missouri, there's literally no upper class black community in the entire Missouri. In the entire state of Missouri, there is no black upper class enclave. The richest community in Missouri doesn't have any hardly any blacks in it whatsoever. Maybe one or two, maybe somebody to play for St. Louis Cardinals or something like that, or something, that it's non-existent. It goes into, like, in certain states that they literally they literally keep niggas on their neck. Like they do it better than other states. Like other people from other parts of the world and states, they just be like, damn, how you do that? What I'm saying? Like, how do you do that so well? And it goes into economics, it goes into culture and group think and all of that type of stuff, where basically a lot of people are just hemmed up. It's kind of like if you ever saw that episode with the Boondocks, where he basically they had to live in this town, and it was fenced in, and nobody really can get in or out. I mean, it's kind of like, it's a lot of places that are very similar to that type of life, where you can get in, but you really can't get out. It's like a trap, like you live in a physical trap. So it's a lot of places that are basically lower income. It's like basically the whole America. Just imagine the entire America, and then you have very small pockets of where black people live, and then you have big pockets of where black people live. Let's just talk about Chicago. Chicago has a lot of parts where it's violent, and it's a mix of people from low income, working class, in poverty, and then you got a sprinkle of middle class in there. You might have some old people that just they don't want to move or whatever. They live they're upper middle class, and they live there, and then they pretend like they broke like everybody else. A lot of black people, they'll live around other black people and pretend like they're broke just so they can live there. Like, you got some black people that a lot of them are they're boomers. They blend in with everybody else. They might have a new car, but they don't have nothing too fancy, because they blend in with everybody else just so they can live in in basically mix in with everybody else. You have that same thing going on in Gary too. You have quite a few black people that will be considered upper middle class, and you really wouldn't know it because people don't tell you their business and blah blah blah. But basically, they're considered upper middle class, but they don't really want to live around white folks. They talk about this in the book Dark Ghettos. Okay, they talk about this stuff in that book. Okay, I heard that from Green Gorilla. Okay, so what I'm saying. I ain't you I'm not that type of individual. So I'll post where I heard it from because I ain't necessarily I've not came up with that idea myself. The book Dark Ghettos, but they talk about that in that book, The Dark Ghettos, where you have black people that do have enough money to move out, but they don't feel comfortable moving out because moving out of that community where it's predominantly black, that means you have to go deal with the white folks. Got some people that, and I understand, they deal with white folks at work, they deal with white folks in all aspects of business. They want to break from them, so they go live. They know they gotta, live somewhere maybe sketchy or quote unquote around the hood. So they deal with it, or if they lucky, they could move into a middle class, black middle class city, and it's not too hood or ghetto. But you got places in America that there's primarily nothing but ghettos. There's very few black um upper middle class neighborhoods in America. It's very few. Okay, it's very few. Like for example, go to Missouri and go do a sociological experiment. Go to Missouri and go try to find an upper class black community. Okay, like there's nothing but black people and it's upper class. Now that might have changed. All it takes. I'm gonna tell you how easy it is to create an upper class black community. Okay, you find a construction group that's already in the area. But first, before you do anything, you buy the land and you got to talk to the city. You gotta have you know what I'm saying. You gotta this conversation can go into some shit that people be like talk about some boule shit, something like that. But it could go there. Like it ain't really no big deal other than you got to go talk to the people that run the county that you're in as well as city that you're in. And because basically you're going to be buying some land and you're going to be building some housing development, and you're going to need roads cleared. You're going to basically need to create an environment because you're about to build some mansions. That's all you have to do to create a black fucking you ask me how I know. I could tell you. Cuz I my grandfather's brother-in-law, that's what the fuck he did. That was his job. He had a construction company, and the man he lived in a mansion and he built mansions for a living. Okay, I hell, my granddaddy didn't live in no mansion. His brother did, but my grandfather was more or less like the person that I'm mentioning as far as they did. He didn't really want to live around white folks like that. My granddad was from Mississippi. He's born in the 1930s. They was hanging Negroes in trees. They was hanging pregnant women, black pregnant women in trees. The man, he had to deal with a lot of shit. So he really didn't feel comfortable living around white folks like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, eventually he did in the 60s, but white people moved out of Chicago during that time and they moved up north and they moved further south in the south suburbs. Then they moved to Northwest Indiana in the 80s. But anyway, yeah. Um that's all you need to do to build an upper class black community I mean, to start, but it takes a lot of communal communication and all of that type of stuff. Black people have a very hard problem of working with each other. It's been very much division, a lot of different stuff to deal with, and black people have a hard time making money. I mean, just even making money, like just being middle class. You go even fuck me middle class, just working, just trying to pay bills and stuff like that. It's not easy in America, man, to try to do that if you don't know how to do it. And then you got to understand, it's about where you were born, who you were born around, your family. All of these are like, I'm a poker player to a certain degree. I'm not a professional poker player. I've never played poker professionally or in a casino, nothing like that, seriously or anything. But I know a couple hands. I used to, play poker and stuff on, like, on the computer and shit like that. So I know, like, okay, royal flush, suited pairs, and all of that. But basically, forget all of that. Just think about it like this: you were born with a hand. Everybody was born with a hand. It kind of goes into the spoons. You were born with a good hand or a bad hand. That's where a lot of times people bluff in life. They try to pretend or cap like they're above everyone else, or they have like a grandiose idea about themselves. And what they're doing is the modern day capping is the poker bluff. They're bluffing their actual lifestyle, their actual existence, or let's just say financial existence or financial wherewithal, as to pretend that they have it when they don't. Now, that is where this whole these women are CIA agents come from, because black women have, in their perception from the propaganda that's pushed out by other women, because they don't want to feel shame and all kind of other different areas. They have the propaganda that they make more than black women. I mean, more than black men. They make they're more financially successful than black men because they have degrees. But when you look at stats, here you go, back to stats. You look at what is actually their earning power is, what they actually the jobs they do, the debt that they get from those college ventures, the whole nine. And it paints a picture that it's not. It's when they say that, that's just propaganda that they heard, and they're just regurgitating some propaganda that they heard. And basically, when you actually point that out to them, they want to call you every name in the book, because it's based off of emotions and feelings, not statistics and reality. Statistics and reality will basically check you. Okay, it'll put you in check to the point where you'll listen to somebody that is actually have a opinion based off of an emotion. Okay, because that's what an opinion is. It's an emotion, and that opinion is not based off of facts and reality and statistics. So they have a perception that they earn more, make more, and have more money, and it's based off of their environment, because a lot of women, they absolutely do that. So if a woman, okay, for example, if a black woman likes, quote unquote, let's say, hood dudes, right? if she likes hood dudes, do you think that she wants to live outside of the hood? That's the question I asked to you. Do you think that a black woman that likes hood dudes, that has a master's in finance, that works for an accounting firm, and she makes over six figures, and her primary partner and dating partner is a hood dude that's basically living around poverty, is she going to live somewhere else? Some of them do that, but some of them, the most desperate ones that I've seen, especially if they already have children, they live around typically the men that they have sex with. Okay, I am I am highly educated, because based off of the women in my family and the women that I grew up with, and the other women that I just noticed in society. Because some people might not point these things out, but I'm pointing things out from a socioeconomic perspective. Some people don't want to necessarily out themselves. Okay. But yeah, they a lot of times I've seen like some of the most desperate women, they they live around the men that they're sleeping with, that they primarily um are intimate with. Such as, I'll even say this, some of the women that are highly educated, highly sophisticated, that they don't necessarily really are not really into black men, they don't really live around the hood like that. I'll give them that. They don't, those women that are truly, I'll say, divestors, or they're just truly into white dudes that are primarily of a upward mobility type, they do not live, they don't live around the hood like that. They'll probably, I'll even say, they probably live around about 30 miles away from the hood. They are far from the hood, and they like, they're happy as can be to not be anywhere around that hood. And they might struggle with black culture, cultural problems and stuff like that. And then they'll even still be delusional because they don't still study facts and reality and statistics. It's off of emotions about them being a woman, being proud of being a black woman, and thinking every black woman is just like them as well in their delusional brains. And it's not the case. It is very few black women that earn six figures. It's very few black women that are successful entrepreneurs to the point where they're making over six figures or $1 million a year in revenue, and self sustaining, meaning they don't necessarily have to run the business themselves. They can just basically, they have an actual business where they might help in. Uh, I say basically, if your business doesn't have the business capacity, or your business system consists of you working over 25 to even 50% of the actual business, you meaning you have to be there, actually run the business, you don't have a necessarily a business, you have a small business. A business basically runs on itself whether you're there or not. It's based off of your actual business plan and other things of that nature. Most people, they don't have an actual business, they just have a small business. And it doesn't, what I'm saying doesn't have anything to do with money. It's basically, you you have your own job, and you run 25 to 50% or more of the actual work that's being done, because you either the only one that really know how to do it well, or you have trust issues where You don't want to actually run the business with a manager or some other person other than you and train them. It's a lot of other things involved with that, but yeah, it's very few black upper class in America. Okay, very few black female um, um, that are basically single that are upper class in America by themselves. What you'll find if you research the black female upper class, you will find that the black female upper class is married. She has a husband. That's why they're both upper middle class, or they both themselves are upper middle class or upper class because they help each other out and they're married. Okay, quote unquote, whatever you want to call them. You want to call them a power couple, whatever the case may be. That's what you'll find if you research the black female upper class. In their delusional head, they believe that they they know that they want a man. Every woman wants a man. Even the gay ones want a man. But the thing is that they think that they can absolutely do it by themselves because they see somebody again on Facebook or Instagram that they got a hero that they follow that she's doing it by themselves and they're trying to mimic her. And you got to understand she's one of how many women that absolutely have that lifestyle and that income. And then again, every now and again you find out some of these women are scamming. Okay, they getting a PPP loan. They robbing the accounting of their corporation that they work for. You know, like the chick that stole some money from Facebook. So it's a lot of tangibles and moving parts in this. Basically, most of America makes up the demographic of these types of women. For every and it goes into the octane skills. For every woman that you think is upper class in your mind because you watch the Cosby Show growing up, or you watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Um, it's a whole bunch of hood Keishas that makes up America. It's just like I'll just say it like this: you think in your head, whoever listening to this right now, you think everybody is like a city person the country music all day and listening to, you know, folk folk songs and white dudes singing with a guitar, playing the guitar. That's what most of America is. It's a bunch of country people in the country surrounded by crops, soybeans and corn and all kind of other crops and open fields. That's what makes up most of the United States in totality. Outside of that, you got in the black community, as far as the representation is what I'm talking about today, most black people are in somewhere like a hood or a ghetto. That's where most black people are. And even in middle class, because they're so small of a separation of basically The upper class is so small in the black demographics that everybody else is pretty much either in the middle or in the ghetto. So the ghetto, the ghetto people are the people that is the loudest, the people that's making the most noise. You got to understand. And then here's the thing, right? When the upper class have a voice, what are they saying? When the upper class get a microphone, for example, Michael Irvin's son lived in a gated community. All Mike's problems with his drug habits and everything, at the end of the day, he lived in a gated community, nice house, and all the trimmings and you could get with it. And his son lived in that same upper class lifestyle. What happens when he get older? He wants to be a rapper. Instead of being an upper class rapper, okay, maybe somebody could tell. I think Joyner Lucas, he talks about certain things. Other than that, it's not that many upper class rappers that talk about upper class life. The main, okay, I'm looking at it from the male perspective. The male rappers, they come from the hood and then they start talking about upper class shit when they get on. And then you got a lot of rappers that never get on. They was faking it, and then they had their little hit, or they had a one or two albums, and then they had to fall off or whatever. The ones that did make it, Nas and Jay-Z's and all. Well, Jay-Z was already selling dope. Okay, Nas as well. A lot of them rappers in the '90s, it was called cocaine rap because they literally was selling cocaine, and then they was taking the money and going into the music business, basically. Now, you have very few, if not any, rappers basically personifying the upper class life and all of what it has to offer. Like, I mean, it's to a lot of people that's corny. That's considered corny, right? So again, you got actual, even T.I. son. Okay, T.I. son, another one. Okay, I'm standing on business. He wants to be the hood dude. He want to portray what his dad came from, his surrounding neighborhood. Like Dave Tao say, he wants to personify the dominant culture. The dominant culture right now is gangster rap, or not even gangster rap. You can call it hood rap. Hood rap is the dominant wave of the culture in the black community now. That is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's the actual wave of what you see now, is that basically the hood is dominant, um with their cultural expression. Everybody else is basically, they're not talking about that. People that absolutely, okay, what's the reason that you rap? You rap because you ain't got no money. Okay, you got to come out the hood. You got to come up. You got to get on, right? You got to get it out the mud. Well, upper class kid really ain't got to get no fucking, you know what I'm saying, out the mud or anything like that. You really don't have to rap, to be honest. You don't have to rap. All you got to do is, get your daddy to put you on, basically. Now that might be, you want to rap because you liked your daddy and your daddy rapped or your mama rapped. I don't know. But the thing is that really a truly upper class, uh, uh, I'm saying, let's just say true upper class, meaning they daddy and they mama didn't come from the hood. They're like second generation upper class. their children ain't got a rap, and it's embarrassing for them to even rap, to come up with a rap album. So they're not about to come up with no rap album. And then the upper class kids that they parents got it out the mud, got it out, they came from the hood and they got kids now. They want to rap about the all of their friends and their cousins because they still in the hood. They don't have no upper class friends. Where is the upper class friends? There's very few of them. Maybe in Atlanta a little bit, maybe little small pockets in Chicago, New York, or whatever, the case may be. But it's not that many black people that's upper class, so it's literally no escape from it because and then nobody wants to come on talking about, yeah, I drive my mama Bentley and I get it on. Like, I mean, nobody wants to do that because it's looked at as corny. It's looked at as corny to be a upper class, up and coming rapper. You gotta be, and then the producers push this stuff, right? They also, that's what Kanye got canceled for, right? He's talking about, the industry and what they pushing on as far as propaganda. They want you to push the hood and everything like that, where they living in plush neighborhoods in the suburbs. And they don't want their kids listening to rap music. So, it's a lot of moving parts here. But all you gotta know is, yeah, the black upper class kids, where their input in this. They don't have hardly no input because if they are gonna come out, they gonna come out talking about they from the hood when they not from the hood. They was, living in a plush lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? They can't blow their cover because nobody would accept them because they gonna think this privileged dude was corny. That's why a lot of dudes lie. You find out that they did live in an upper class neighborhood and stuff like that, and they ain't really struggle like that. And yeah, they ain't have to get it out the mud and all of that type of stuff. Um, a lot of rappers, man, they struggle with that. They struggle with that classism because the black society in America does not have a high concentrated level of upper class. They are very much separated by everybody else because they don't have any refuge to go and concentrated demographic of people that they can be comfortable and just live their lives and be separate from the lower classes. Okay, they just don't. And that's why you even have people that are upper class. They also have the ghetto weaves, wigs, eyelashes, and fingernails to go with it because they don't want to feel left out. Especially black women. They don't want to feel left out. They want to feel like they are part of a sisterhood, and that's that. So I'm gonna get off of here. I'm not gonna go long term, not necessarily right now. Um, I'm just gonna keep this out in short and sweet, and I'm going to hopefully this answers a lot of questions and put some things in perspective.
Sexy Red is not an industry plant that was put here to help finalize the destroying of the black woman image.
How's you got a bitch name in your mouth and you super broke? It be the brokest bitches. The bottom of the barrel bitches got something to say about a bitch that's getting money. How's you hating on my come up and you is broke? You is broke. I think that's why. Cause you hating on my money. The barrel bitches got something to say about a bitch that's getting money. Getting money. Getting money. How's you hating on my come up and you is broke?